So I have a spreadsheet that actually counts the eBay search results of any search that you enter into eBay or that you could enter into eBay. And it tells you the total number of results on eBay as well as the number of sold results. And that actually comes directly from eBay itself. When you search for a keyword, they give you the number of results. The reason why you would want to do this is it gives you an idea of what is called the sell-through rate, which is how, the amount or the percentage of listings that are able to sell or that have sold on eBay. So basically, if you see a higher percentage, looking at these sold results, for instance, you see that this search keyword, this is shirts, by the way, on row 8, you can see that the percentage is 94%, meaning when it searches for shirts, you get 1,800,000 on eBay, 1,700,000 sold. So it's a much higher percentage than the other products or search words around it. However, you have to consider here that these are very general searches. So what I'm going to do, I set these very general searches up just to kind of give you like a general idea of what it does. But when we look at more specific keywords, we can get much more different results. So keep in mind, this is very general right now. So what I'm going to do first of all is actually clear out, and I'll just click on the clear all button here, and that will clear those out. I also have to clear this for now manually, but I'll fix that so it clears that as well. And basically, the first thing I want to do is actually go over to Keyword Tool and find keywords for eBay. So now you saw that I had some different things in there, and that shirts came up with that high sell-through percentage. So you know what? Why don't I go ahead and just enter shirts? Okay, I'll enter shirts under eBay on keywordtool.io, and I'm searching within the United States right now, and you can change that if it makes sense for you. And with the free version of Keyword Tool, we're not going to get the search volume. Maybe they might give us a few previews, but basically we do, however, get a lot of the different keywords searches, long tail keywords. Those give you very specific searches, that very specific things that people want. So those are good if you really want to narrow down something that has a demand. You can use those long tail keywords to find very specific demand, like men's vintage Harley shirts, right? Size L, right? It's a very specific shirt, specific size, vintage, right? So on and so forth. So you have all these different brands and different things that come up. Now what I'm going to do from here is you can actually go to this corner here in the corner and use the copy button, and that will copy all of these keywords at once. All the keywords are copied, all 287 keywords. Then I'll go over to the spreadsheet, and I'll just, right where it says search phrase, which is really where the keywords go, you'll do paste special and values only. And in fact, I'll change this to keyword, not search phrase. Keyword, and then the search phrase. Now, by the way, the root keyword, it's a good idea to record this. The root keyword is shirts, meaning the keyword that I actually typed in when I did the search, right? And it's good to have that in case you decide to add more other types of keywords in here. So I'll just double click over here, and that will copy all the way down. Right, so I have all these different keywords for shirts, and now all I have to do now, well, yes, in fact, all I have to do is click Start Getting eBay Results. Once this is cleared out, it will start from the top, and it will basically crawl down. Also, you can fill in the date. It makes sense because things can change, so it makes a lot of sense to type in today's date. August 15th is today's date, 2025. If you add 2 of these, then you can copy it down from here. You just highlight them and go over here. You can just copy them down this way, or just use a double click, right? I also like to put a number here. As you can see, I'm working from right to left, but you don't have to work in that direction. Okay, same thing with the numbers, 1, 2, 3, and then double click or just one into double click and it will fill in. And that just, gives it a little more organization on this side. But you don't have to do entry ID and date and all that. You don't even need the root keyword, right? Just having the keyword is enough. Now you see all the way over here that it is already starting to give you the number of eBay results and the number of sold results and the percentage of listed and sold. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that these three columns could actually be over here all the way to the left. And I might actually just redesign this and move them over so that you can actually just, maybe they should be over here somewhere, maybe over here after the word search phrase. Because these are more like optional. But I'll see. But anyway, the thing is that you have Google Trends charts as well if you want to do like a Google Trends search on individual things, right? So like, for instance, shirts in general, right? You could look at the last 12 months Google Trends chart just by clicking that. And you see where shirts are. You see that it's up at 93. Right, you want to look at the end of it. If you're looking to see where it is right now, you see it's at 93 and it's considerably higher, right? It's higher than previous, right? But 93, it's high on that chart, right? And then you can also look at past 5 years to get an idea of, but for something as general as shirts, I mean, it's not really going to be significant. Like, people have always been looking for shirts. So I don't necessarily expect to see some kind of growth over 5 years. It's pretty much just going to be, you see, it's just kind of stably been over 50 the whole time, between 50 and 100. And it's natural for things to go up and down, right? That's just things trend up and trend down. So nothing really special I could really say about, the Google Trends on shirts, except maybe for the past 12 months to see that it's, the popularity is higher right now. So, of course, you can also do a Google search on it, and then you can actually do the eBay search. Now, for the eBay search, I'm using, I've already set it up with these very general, kind of most general search. But you can actually change these, and maybe in another video I can get into that. That's a bit more advanced. But not really. But I mean, it just means that you would be applying filters, other filters. Like, let's say, for instance, you wanted to do only new products. You could do new without tags, which now changes the back half of the URL. So you would look for everything after jeans, and you would copy that, right? So I'm actually showing you after all. You'll just copy that and simply just paste it over the sold search. Is that sold or general? No, this is a general search. Over the general search, whatever I have here now, if you see what's in here now, you'll be pasting over it, basically, paste. So now the search down here will be for new products only, new with tags, right? Because I'll undo it, and you'll see that the one I had before, being more basic, and it's not letting me go back to what I had. Okay, because it's probably undoing something else. The one I had before, I applied the filter. I'll just take it off. Put it back to any condition, right? See, it was different. It didn't have all that other stuff on it, right? It was just this. So this is just like the very general, the very general, most general search that you could have for this, right? And I'll just put that back. Okay, and then same thing for the sold search. This is the sold search column over here, so you can change this as well if you have more details you want to add on the filters, or more filters, really, I should say. Okay, so now you see we have some different results that are forming here, and I mean, that's it really, just to look at the list and sold. What I can do here, and this, anything you see me add here will probably, in fact, it will be included on your copy, but I'll just go ahead and add it. So I'll go ahead and add it. Conditional formatting. You can do, greater than a certain percentage. For instance, you could say like greater than 0.5, and then you'll just highlight that green. Done. That's called conditional formatting, right? And so, like I said, that'll be added in your sheet, so it'll just light up for you, and then that way anything that's over 50, you can just like see that it is green, right? So basically, you can then kind of gravitate towards some of these things, and it does. Okay, I canceled that because it was when it gets to a certain point, it goes over the execution time and then it stops. So you would then have to continue. If you want it to keep going, you can click continue and it will continue, right? And okay, there's an issue there. Okay, so I'll look at that later and see what happened with that continue operation. But yes, so you can begin to gravitate, if you wish, towards the one that have the higher list and sold, but considering also how general it is, right? And how specific it is. You need to think about that. So when things are very specific and they have a very small number of results, it's easy for the percentage to be this high, right? It's easy for the, to have 231 more sold than you have listed when there's only 200, so that's, but when you're dealing with something that is very general, where you have like over 1 million results, you will tend to have a smaller percentage. Not as many of those more general searches are going to be sold because there's just so many, it's just, there's more things going on there. But when it comes down to these very specific searches, you'll see like these higher sold percentages. But maybe that says also that, hey, that it's just easier, to get those things sold because they're so specific, right? There's some kind of specific demand and, a small number of listings. So let's look into some of those, like this one, Crazy Shirts B, Kliban, or whatever, right? Okay, so what I'll do now is I can actually use the search here. URL that is already constructed here and actually search eBay, right? Manually executing the search, and then I can see what pops up here, right? So I can see what these, crazy shirts are actually about, right? So now I see all of these shirts, so I can see what are these shirts that have, let's see how many, 357 results. Now it turns out the results will be slightly different from what gets reported, because at different moments you may have different results. So at the moment it might have picked up whatever it picked up, but at this moment it might pick up something else. So keep that in mind. It could be, but you see it's not far off, right? 357 and 315. You see it's like in the ballpark, right? And then here are the sold results. We can click that. For ease, when we see 319 sold results. If you want to just look at those that have actually sold, right? And remember, we're looking at everything, pre-owned, new. It's looking at all the different conditions at the same time. So keep that in mind. It's not like we're just looking at, one thing or another. So you can always filter it more tightly to your, what you're interested in selling. If you like to sell pre-owned, or if you want to sell it, whatever, new products. I would tend to think if you're doing this kind of research, you're probably trying to sell them new. It's quite likely, unless you just have some way of getting them pre-owned. But you're probably more likely able to get these things new, as far as like multiple quantity of them instead of just getting like one, right? Pre-owned, you usually just have one around the house that you used to own or that you wore, or maybe you never wore or something, right? But if you're really trying to actually repeatedly sell products of this particular product, you're probably looking for new products, right? So, you can look at the results, and this is just giving you an idea of what people are willing to pay for these products. Now, something I like to do personally, what I do is I'll sort by shipping highest first, price plus shipping, highest first, so I can see what are like the highest selling ones, like what are the craziest prices that these things are selling for, these kinds of shirts, right? And so you'll see this one that sold for like $125, right? Now, I don't know if it sold for that. It says $125 or best offer over $10 delivery. Now, I have a product research template, and I wish I had it open right now. and that will actually give you the sales history. So you can actually grab products from here, put it in that template in that Google Sheet, and it'll create the sales history link for you, and then you can open it and look at the sales history. So I did do that in another video. I've demonstrated that Google Sheet, and I guess I'll have to link something to this video to that so you can see how that works. But right now, I just wanted to point out how this works, this Google Sheet, how it gets the number of results in total, the number of sold results. And just think about the time. I mean, you can now find very specific keyword searches, which you can get quickly and easily from Keyword Tool. And now you can quickly search all of them, right? Immediately, and see the ones that have the highest sell-through rate without software like Zeek Analytics or anything like that. And this is not the only Google Sheet I have, by the way, that has like some kind of automation feature on it. But, just even this alone, not having to use like a paid software, sourcing software, right? And so you can immediately begin to see, in right here, which ones have these higher kind of sell-through rates, and then you can kind of chase that if that's something you feel like you need to chase, right? Or that you want to chase, which are high sell-through rates. Now, because of high sell-through rates, it doesn't always mean that a lower sell-through rate is not something good to take a look at. But it just might mean that the search is very general. Sometimes that's why the rate is low. A lot of times it's very general. But so that's basically the idea. So yes, these searches are, what I have in here already are general. But you can narrow them down by condition and all of that, and then as I did earlier, and change the back half up here. Otherwise, you can just stick to the basics, and that is how this works. So that's really about it. I mean, if you want to access this Google Sheet, as well as a ton of other, or a bunch of other, at least I should say, Google Sheets that I have made for eBay sellers, I do offer these as a group of spreadsheets that you can actually download together as a group. And whether this one will be something you can download individually, I'm not sure. I haven't set it up as an individual spreadsheet, but perhaps I might do that as well if you just want to download only this spreadsheet. Perhaps I might do that as well. But basically, you can download the whole set. So just check the description of the video. You'll find a link that you can use to do that. And check the description for anything else that I might have. I never really know what I'm going to add to that description until I finish recording the video. And there might be something else that pops into mind. So just go ahead and take a look. I'm Mr. Mark, by the way. This is Tools for Sellers. And I'll see you around in another video. Or if you contact me, maybe I'll even hear from you as well. And that's it. I'll see you around in another video.